I missed you guys. More?
A couple more.
We're excited. I think the thing we've been talking about is just this team's story that it's going to tell over the course of the season. And I think we're excited to get that started. And we've had 3 really, really good days of practice, 4 really good days of practice. We'll have our 5th later on this afternoon. But so far, it's been kind of the same head-down approach to we have to work and we have to catch up and we have to, get better. And we've talked a lot about we have, 4 minus 14, 10 practices now left before we step on the court against Louisville. And we have 17 weeks of practice until we're tournament ready and ready to go make another push into the NCAA tournament. And I think our group has taken that really seriously, have put their heads down and gotten to work.
We'll start on the right with Kay, third row.
Can you talk a little bit about the competition with the pin attackers in specific, and then just how the opposite position is coming along, specifically with Taryn Morris?
Yeah, I think it's all, and we've really come in with the caveat that pins are pins. So I don't necessarily think it's like these people here and these people here, and it might be a blend of a little bit of all of that. So it's still in the works, and we do things a little bit differently in our gym. Where like the first 3 days, we actually don't really set a lot of volleyballs from our setters. It's a lot about a system work. So it's who can hit a high ball. So we're just starting to get into the part of the season where we're going to see what people are made of in here. So that'll still be developing.
We'll go second row on the left to Alex.
Hey, Jamie, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Just what are some of the characteristics that you're finding out about this team as you're starting to get to know them throughout this offseason into the summer now that you're here at preseason practice?
I hadn't thought about it. The first thing that came to my mind was learners. I think they're really, really thirsty to learn. And whether people came here, I think at this point in the transfer portal, or they came here as freshmen, they came here because they were curious and because they think this is the place in the country where they can develop the most. So I think that was the first thing that came up. I think kind's the wrong word. Like they're looking to connect, I think is the other one that I'm looking for, is they really want to get to know the people around them. They want to get to know everybody on the team. I think I've just heard of different little pockets of people going out to different things, and like 4 or 5 of them went to watch Spider-Man the other day, and I was like, it was the group that I wouldn't expect to go watch Spider-Man, but I think that's the thing. I'd say curious and then connecting, whatever the verb of that is.
We'll go front row on the right to Travis.
Great quote there, whatever the verb of connecting is.
Hey, Jamie. Kind of the latest news. What was it like going through last weekend with the court injunctions and everything that came out? Because I think when you looked at y'all's roster, that y'all's were had maybe had the most potential to sway had that come out earlier.
I don't know what you're talking. I'm just kidding. I saw the news. I think just welcome to college athletics these days, where you take one step and then the next one you think it's going to be sturdy ground, and all of a sudden things change. And I think we're all living in that world, and I think right now everyone's waiting to see kind of what happens. And I don't think anybody's rushing to make a decision to go do anything at that point. And I said it from the very beginning of this. This one's about telling their story. And we're really like head down right now, geared towards the 16 athletes that are in our gym and getting to work every single day. So obviously, like today is Tuesday? Wednesday, the complete rule set of volleyball could change, is the way we feel about it, and we'll deal with that when it comes.
What's y'all's roster situation like, and would you be able to add anyone if that was a possibility?
We have 16 people on our roster, so obviously the limit's 18. So, but there's no plans to do that right now unless something drastically changes with what's going on.
We'll go second row on the left to Tyler.
Jamie, what does a preseason look like for defending national champion? I know, this time last year you had a lot of confidence in what you could do. You went and proved it. How does it maybe feel different this year?
You asked the question, and then my first response was there is no difference. Like our first 3 days of practice looked very similar, and I think if there's anything, it's this group has an understanding that, or at least I have an understanding, I don't know if I've said this to this group, that what we did last year was the product of a 3-year process. It wasn't something that happened from the preseason on. It was something that happened over a long period of time. And I think the thing that's changed is I'm better at what I do now than I was 3 years ago. And my job now is to take what we did in 3 years and try to accelerate that and give this group the opportunity, to go out and do what they are. And going back to, our athletes, I think are hungry to learn. They can do it faster than the group that did it before. My staff is better than they were 3 years ago. We can do it faster than we did it before, but it is going to be a process. So again, I don't think anything's changed. I think we go about things very similarly, but make small upgrades from what we did 3 years ago, from what we did 2 years ago, from what we did 1 year ago. And hopefully we can get that to happen faster and faster and faster. But I told our group, like, this group is going to be different. It's going to, I don't know, get on the court and have a different personality, different feel. We're going to play a slightly different style of volleyball. But the thing that's going to be the same is the process that we took to go get there. And that's getting to work every single day of coming in, being mindful and intentional about the way that we practice, about working hard and the ways that we define for our team. All of those things are going to be the things that make us us. It's going to be any team in the history of Texas A&M. As long as I'm here, we'll have those things with them. But this group gets to tell their own story in some way, shape, or form. So it's the same process with figuring out who we are along the way.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left-hand side.
Hi, Jamie. You kind of just answered my question. I was just going to ask, how do you manage expectations for not only your returning athletes, but incoming athletes? And then also, how are you going to navigate through the season, kind of knowing, as national champions, maybe a target on your back, maybe people trying to prove a point?
Yeah, we'll probably talk about target on our back a little bit, but I think we thrive and celebrate under people pushing us. So in terms of that question, it's a little bit the same of what it was. And even though I don't think anybody necessarily took us lightly last year. I think there's a lot of people that really didn't want to play us on the non-con part of the season. So I think everyone took it seriously. So that piece is that piece. And then the first part of the question was expectations, right? It was kind of along those lines. We talk a lot about telling your story. And we talk a lot about, hey, when we step out on the floor, and we're probably not going to go undefeated this year. I scheduled our non-con harder than I think it came out as the third hardest in the country. So if we come out of that unscathed at whatever that is, 13-0, I'd be really, really impressed. We're going to have some bumps, and we're going to learn along the way, and this group's going to figure out who they are. And again, we did the same thing last year. We went up to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and got our butts handed to us by SMU and turned around and then lost to TCU in a tight one. But last season wasn't perfect, but we learned with every single one of those. And this group, again, has to take the losses that we had in year one in that. And again, this group, I think, is a better starting point. But year one, year two, year three, we're trying to accelerate all of that stuff into one right now and get us to where I know this group can win a national championship again. And I said that. I think we sent it out and something that was on social media. The expectation for this program right now is that we go about our process to try to win a national championship. That is the goal. And again, I just want to hit this hard with everybody in every single sport. I can probably step up here and speak for every single head coach. We're going to do everything in our power to win a national championship every single year, but I've never seen a program in any sport do it for 54 years in a row. But we are going to go about the process the same way. We're going to push, we're going to strive, we're going to try to win a national championship with the way we come about practice and the way that we compete out on the floor and the way we represent this institution on and off the court. And we're going to do those every single day in hopes of that thing happening. If it does at the end of the year, I'll celebrate like I did this last one and then get on to the next one again.
We'll stay behind the lights to the right-hand side.
Hey, Jamie, I guess you talked about a little bit with Spider-Man there, but I'm just wondering, how is this team gelled? So many departures, so many newcomers. I think 8 of the 16 are new. Just how is this team gelled so far, and what does that process look like?
Great. And I think we're not a very, veteran-laden team, but I think the veterans on this team really stepped forward. And for everybody that came in new, are really active and trying to, get them to be a part of the team. And from day one, we talk about emotional bank accounts, I thought people were putting chips in that from day one of making sure that people felt included. They felt like they were a part of something. So I think from the very beginning it happened, and I think it's continued to happen throughout, the 6 months that we've been here. Obviously, Lou was a later addition than the people that were here in the spring, but the same thing happened over the summer as people kind of rushed to be by her side.
We'll stay behind the lights again, right in the middle.
Hey, Jamie, you mentioned a little bit about having a really tough non-conference schedule. How do you feel like that helps benefit your team with your ultimate goal once you guys get into conference and tournament play?
Yeah, we talk a lot about learning through 3 different ways: history, heartbreak, or trust. And I think when you go about playing people that are really, really good, you have to step up to that level. And you either learn how to do it, which is awesome. You play up to that level and learn how to do it for long periods of time. And I can tell you, the group that did what they did last year, there was a key moment in the middle of the Kentucky match where they learned that lesson. And that was what caused that tournament run, in my opinion, was just the ability to sustain that over long periods of time. So to not only have to sustain it with one match, but to have to sustain it throughout the entire non-con, or, again, learn through heartbreak of a loss. We'll take some lessons and we'll go back and learn. It's really, really important. And again, I can keep saying this till I'm blue in the face, and I said it last year that the SEC is one of the hardest conferences in the country, and all of a sudden you had 2 teams in the final. It's no joke. I remember vividly playing teams that were in the bottom 4 of that and feeling like I was on my edge the entire match and took a deep breath afterwards. So we're going to need that throughout SEC play as well.
We'll go back to Kay, third row on the right-hand side.
For those who haven't seen Gabby Rodriguez play volleyball, can you kind of just talk about what kind of player she can be for A&M this year?
Yeah. She's off the court a kind soul that is going to be curious about the people around her. On the court, she's, I don't know, a fiery competitor that's going to get in somebody's face, and those two things are hard to find. Usually you get one or the other. I think she balances those two things really well. She's skilled. I just opened her eyes to the fact that the entire international database of video is on her computer if she wants to go look at it, and I'm scared she's not going to go to class now. So she's a student of the game. She loves studying other people. She came to me with questions about Gabby, an outside hitter that played for Brazil, is where that whole conversation went down a rabbit hole. So she's got the whole package, and she's, I don't know, just barely a freshman. And I keep having to remind people that people were here in the spring, like 4 people on our team were basically high school seniors. And she's just getting started. And again, based on all those things, it's the tip of the iceberg of how good she can get to. And I think you're going to continue to see that throughout her career here.